Here today. Bishop Angelos referred to Christianity in Egypt to St. Mark, and also even later some saints in St. Thomas went to Iraq. For Syria, the situation is a little bit different, because the founder of Christianity in Syria is only the Lord himself, Jesus Christ. So we don't want saints and people to bring Christianity to Syria, because Jesus was born in Syria, not under Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower, unfortunately, for the Westerns. Although the Western media tries and likes to portray Jesus as a Western, fluffy, blonde and blue-eyed. To my dismay, since I moved to London 16 years ago, people never stopped asking me, "Father, when did you become Christian?" and the disaster is when you say, "Well, I've been always Christian." Then they say, "Well, I'm sure then your parents became Christian." So that far they can go, no further. And when I say even St. Paul on the road to Damascus became Christian, then the jaw drops and they look at me as if I'm coming from the moon. What do you mean, the road to Damascus with St. Paul? And I say Damascus, the capital of Syria today, for example, because the biblical Damascus in the mind of the Western theology and thoughts, and even in the media, is Camelot, and St. Paul is King Arthur. Everything is a fantasy. The biblical geography is a fantasy land, where it happened that St. Paul was going to a fantasy land called Damascus, had this experience, and was converted. And before, we also forget, if we open Luke chapter 2, when he says that when Cornelius was the governor of Syria, then he was describing the situation when Jesus Christ was born. Why would he say that so-and-so was the governor of Syria, if Palestine at that time was not a satellite of Syria in the Roman Empire? So we move from this scene to the Arabic winter, and Christians in Syria went also through hell. And in the last 3 years, we always lived more or less in a good harmony with our neighbors, the Muslim neighbors. And I also want to emphasize, like my dear brother and mentor, Bishop Angelos, that we are minorities only numerically, but we belong to the very fabric of the society in the Middle East. We are not imported, and we are not fabricated. We have been there 700 years before even Islam started. So as long as we are treated in this way, we couldn't be fair to the minorities in the Middle East. And every minority in Syria, not only Christians, every minority in Syria is part of the very fabric of the society. Whether we're talking about Alawites, Druze, you name it, all of them belong to the very fabric of the society. What is the situation today? I know he's jotting 1 minute. The situation is dire, and the fact that Syria dropped out of the radar in the media does not mean in any way that the situation in Syria got better. But the media in the West has this tendency to be excited about one topic for some times, and then suddenly something else more exciting comes up, and they drop the first subject and they pick a new subject, as if our small minds cannot cope with more than one story a day. So they that much they respect us in the media. We have lost 2/3 of Christianity in Syria. The number dropped dramatically from 15% to, I think at the moment is not more than 5 or 6%. The displacement of Christians in Syria has taken many turns to the worst, especially in Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor, and in the East Syria on the border with Iraq. Christians there, they had 3 options. First, to become Muslims. Second, to pay al-jizya, the tax, in gold specifically, or they are killed. If you were there, which one would you choose? They didn't even have the choice to leave. So they had only these 3 choices. All the minorities in Syria suffered the same destiny and the same fate. What is happening, I can't tell you where we are going in Syria. The situation is hell, because in the past we were under dictatorship, yes. The corruption was invaded every little details of our lives, yes. But at least we had safety. People lived together. We lacked the freedom of expression, yes. The freedom of movement and political life, yes. But we didn't lose more than 250,000 people in 2 years. So I finish by saying, who is holding those people into account? They are accountable to whom? I say to the world, when a pathetic film was shown on YouTube, and when the cartoons appeared in Denmark, millions of Muslims went to the streets, to the extent that people died during these demonstrations. And when it comes to the death of Muslims and Christians and other minorities, where are the Muslims and where are the millions going to the streets to say, not in my name, not in the name of my God and my religion? The silence, my friends, is deafening, and I do not accept to be in an interfaith event when we turn the deaf ear and the blind eye to what is happening and say enough with pleasantries. We are not here to massage each other's egos and tolerance. Tolerance is not enough. We must move to action. Thank you.